So don't worry about getting old. Worry about thinking old. Right? That's why you need help. And I did this because I picked this title this week, my talk, because I just had my birthday Tuesday, my 71st birthday. Thank you. And it was wonderful. It was when you hear a number with your age, you go, what? How did that happen? Right? How the heck did that happen? Those many years. And I don't think I'll be doing any hopscotching, not because I probably can't, but I have no desire to. So, but really we need to, we can't be worrying about and thinking old. We have to be in the moment. And so for those of you that, most of us in this room are of a little more mature. We've been around the sun a few more times than some of you, but this applies to all of us. Can I have my next slide, Gilmore? So don't let age be your cage. This was something Dr. Tom used to talk about. So even if you're young, who would think that a little baby, that you can't do that? And he's like, oh yeah, watch me, and so don't let age be your cage. So I want to talk about this because we go through phases in our life, or at least I have, and maybe some of you can relate. Remember when you were in high school and like, oh, I can't wait to graduate and go to college or whatever. And then it was, or first you want, I can't wait till I'm 16 and I can drive. Remember, we had these goals to make us feel like we've arrived, right? You get your first driver's license, and you have this sense of freedom, right? Then you want to be 18, you want to graduate high school, and some went to college, some didn't. We all had our plans for the future. And then of course you want to be 21, right? So you can go drinking and go to a bar and so forth. But remember those phases. Remember, and you have this vision of your life. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And some of us did. Some of us didn't. I didn't. My mother told me, go to airline school, become a stewardess, and travel the world and meet a rich man and get married. That was what my mother I didn't even go to college. That wasn't something that I was taught in my family. And plus, I graduated in 1969. And those of you who remember, I remember all my friends were, they were dropping LSD. They were smoking pot. And I would never go to those parties because if I came home and I smelled of it, holy hell would break out in my house. So, we go through these phases, and I went to airline school, but I had fallen in love before that. Now, has love ever derailed your dreams? Amen, sister. So love sign kind of sometimes changes where you're going, right? And so, I think about that. But everything I know from this teaching is there's a divine plan. So I fall in love. I got offered a job. I was too young to be a flight attendant, but I was old enough to do reservations. But I'd have to go to Florida or New York, and my love was in California. So I didn't go, which everything turns out for the best. But so, so now I'm in, I got married at 19. Didn't tell my parents because he was 12 years older and they would have had a fit and would have never happened. So I got married and then I told them I was married because they couldn't do anything about it. And, and I was married for 21 years. But as I'm growing up, I look at my life and there are obstacles that happen. There are things that happen in your life. And at the time you go, oh yeah, ooh, you can be devastated, you can be angry, or you can take action. And so I did. I was in banking and didn't like the way I went to 2 banks and didn't like that, and had a friend who had told me about court reporting school. And I'm like, court reporting school, never thought about it. And but when I had my issue with the banking, I decided I'm going to go to school. I'm going to do this. I'm going to have my own business. And so, we do these things in our life, like we have a plan. And I think we should always have a plan. Our word this month is adventure. And life is an adventure. We take chances, don't we? And I think we should all be willing to take chances. And so anyway, long story short, I had 2 kids. I didn't want to have kids. I had kids when I was in my 30s. Yeah, I didn't want them. I remember when I went, okay, this is going to be kind of nasty, but I was trying on some workout clothes in Palm Springs. It used to be the Red Garter, if those of you remember. And I'm in the room and I'm trying on some clothes, and my breasts were huge. And I came home and I said to my husband, I said, I'm either dying or I'm pregnant, So we weren't going to have an abortion, and so we kept him, which was the best thing. And when I held him, I said, if I ever wrote a book, it would be called this: Thank You, God, for being smarter than me. Because when they put him in my arms, it was like, oh my God, this is love. This is as much as I loved my husband at the time. As much as I loved my husband, there was something about holding a child, right? And I remember in that moment thinking, if I love this little bundle that I've just encountered this much, how much must God love me? How much must this divine spirit love me? And how would I ever, this is when I started doubting religion. Sorry.
God's calling.
God's calling. Yeah, God's calling. And I thought, how could you have this beautiful child, and if it did something wrong, have it go to hell and burn in fire forever? There's nothing this child could ever do that I would ever stop loving it. And so I want us to remember that. I want us to remember that there you can't make a mistake. It's all life. There are no mistakes. And I have these, most people quote, right now, Thich Nhat Hanh, because he made his transition and he was so wonderful and spiritual. Well, I'm going to quote a lot of Betty White today because she just made her transition and she lived to be 99, just short of her 100th birthday. And if you ever saw her, she was full of life and joy. And that's how, no matter what age, even you young'uns in the back there, live your life with that joy, that passion. That's what we came here for. I heard this thing that if you worry, you are praying to the devil. Okay, think about it. If you are worrying about something, you are thinking negative. That is not what spirit is. That is not what life is about. Life is to know, which is what we say, remember who you are. Each one of you is that aspect of God. So anyway, Sophia Loren said, there is a fountain of youth. It is your mind, your talents, the creativity you bring to your life, and the lives of people you love. When you learn to tap this source, you will truly have defeated age. And that's why I love Don't Let Age Be Your Cage. It's about the creativity. We are creative till the last moment we take our final breath. And so, show me the next slide, Gilmore. Uh-oh. Do not grow old no matter how long you live. Never cease to stand like curious children before the great mystery into which we were born. That's Albert Einstein. Doesn't he look good? I think, what a handsome little guy he was. But that's it. Always be curious. So I have a question I want to ask. How many in here, please raise your hand, are either an atheist or you were raised in some other faith tradition than this? Would you raise your hand? Mm-hmm. I'm going to rest my case here in a moment. So what happened was, I'm going to jump forward. I started my business. It was rough. It was successful. Did all the things that you're supposed to do, you think, when you're in high school to be successful, and that your life is going to be full and magnificent. You're going to found the love of your life. You're going to have the 2 children, the dogs, the house, the career, and everything. And yet there's this emptiness in your soul. At least that's what happened to me. And I dare to say, how many of you knew that there's, it's like that old song, there's, is this all there is? And there's a hole in your soul. And you know that it's not that you were looking for religion or even God. I wasn't looking for God. I was just trying to learn, what the heck am I here for? What is this? What is this all about? What's it all about, Alfie? Mm-hmm. And so I went searching. And when you go searching, what I have learned in my life, and I'm sure many of you can say, your teachers show up. Because you want to know more, and you're putting that out in the universe. A friend's going to mention, oh, you should try this church, or, oh, you might want to read this book, or I'm taking this class. Would you like to join me? And you go, something is telling you, yeah, I should. And that's what happened to me. But I found a book, and then I had to go to Ashland to find out that there was a church 3 miles from my house here that taught the things that I was thinking. Because having been raised Catholic, it was there was just things I just couldn't buy into, like going to hell if you go, if you do something wrong. Because I'm like, why would God put these sins here to tempt me? It's like a test. So coming here, what I loved about this teaching, and what I still love about this teaching, is we're constantly learning. We're constantly learning who we are and the power that we possess. We are not victims. We are the ones creating. And I do believe these obstacles that we say they're opportunities for us to grow and to be who we want to be. And so I want to share. Betty White says, I know it sounds corny, but I try to see the funny side and the upside, not the downside. I get bored with people who complain about this and that. It's such a waste of time. Is that not wisdom?
Yes.
Right? That woman had wisdom. It is a waste of time. What good does it do? I don't know about you, but, I was listening to Francesca's song, Better Times Will Come. And I'm thinking, no, this has got to be a better time right here and right now. And we each have to live this day as though this is the best day, because you know what? It could be your last one. Mm. We have no guarantees how long we're going to be in this plane of existence. Not that we're not going to be eternal, but right here and right now, you better make this time your better time. You better make this day your best day ever. And so I love that. She says, be positive. Negativity takes too much energy. Right? I mean, how many of us, my son he loves the people he works with, but he comes home and he tells me these stories about the negativity of what's going on in the world and so forth. And all we can do is take care of our world. Be that light, be that joy. We don't have to argue with people. Let them have their belief. They're entitled to their belief. You don't have to argue and try to bring them to the bright side, take them from the dark side. No, you just listen to them and love them where they are. She says, don't try to be young. Just open your mind. Stay interested in stuff. There are so many things I won't live long enough to find out about, but I'm still curious about them. You know, people who are already saying, oh, what am I going to do? Well, use that decade. Use that decade and use them all. So those of you that are young, yes, you know, you're gonna be living through things that I can't even imagine. You know, that I have no idea. I'll be on the other side rooting for you, going, yeah, good job, you know, or I might be back, I don't know. But live every decade, live every day as though this is the first day. Be like my little grandchildren who they can't wait to get up to see what are we doing today? What's today going to bring? We should be that way. We tend to get, you know, when we get old, oh, another day I'll go have my coffee and, you know, no, what are you doing? That's exciting. Amy Morrison, you are like my hero. This woman is so creative and is living has fun all the time and is sharing that fun. And that's who we should all be all the time with that. And so I love that about her. So don't let age be your cage. Don't say, I'm too young to do that, or I'm too old to do that. I mean, for God's sakes, I'm taking a class on quantum physics. Lord, I'm sitting there, I'm probably the oldest. Oh, no, I'm not the oldest one in the class. Kathy is. But I sit there and I go, what? You know, but I want to learn. I want to know more. I want to understand how powerful we are. That's why you should be taking classes. Keep your mind going. Okay, so I'm still court reporting. All right. And part of the reason I do it, not only the money's still really good, and there's a shortage of court reporters, but it keeps my mind sharp. I'm using both synapses of my brain when I'm taking this down, and I have a different attitude now than I did when I first started when I was 26. I love to see my clients that I've known for years, and what's really interesting now there's a shortage of court reporters, and because of Zoom, I take depositions all over the state. Up in San Francisco, I'm meeting people online from all over. So everything's an adventure. So I look at COVID as such a blessing for that job. I can stay home at my table, my desk, just open my computer, work. When I'm done, I close it. I can do my transcripts. I don't have to drive. I can just sit there, and I love that. So yes, are there things with COVID? Yeah, having to wear these damn masks are a pain. I agree. Oh my God. So I went to see, for my birthday, it was so wonderful. Dr. James and Kevin bought tickets for me to go to the McCullum to see Bernadette Peters. I know. And we went to dinner with the Wheatlands and Al. It was his birthday also. And Elizabeth, we went to dinner, and it was just fabulous. This woman looks amazing, still sings incredibly. And it was such a joy. And she's living her life. Live your life. Live each moment, Don't take anything for granted. Don't take the people that you love for granted. One of the biggest regrets people have is that they let somebody that they love maybe distance themselves, and they're no longer in contact with them. And then they're thinking about them, I should give them a call, and then they're gone. So take advantage of every moment. And so I want to end with something spiritual. Ralph Waldo Emerson says, what lies behind you and what lies in front of you pales in comparison to what lies inside of you. So remember that. Thank you. Thank you so much.